So we are continuing our lectures. Yesterday we have discussed about the human health risk assessment. Okay. So I told that there are several steps involved in the human health risk assessment. First one being the planning, then hazard identification, then dose response characteristics, then risk assessment. These were the different characteristics. Risk characterization and response assessment. These were the different steps. Okay, so we have seen about the planning phase. Now we are moving on to the next stage, that is the hazard identification. Okay, so how the hazard is being identified in a human health risk assessment. Okay. Okay, so for conducting a human health risk assessment, the different steps include planning, hazard identification, dose response, exposure assessment, and risk characterization. Planning stage is already completed. Now we move on to the hazard identification. So due to exposure to some agents, what are the different types of adverse health effects that are caused? What are the different types of adverse health effects that are caused if there is exposure to some particular agent? Okay, so hazard identification means the particular pollutant, what is the health problem, what type of health problem is caused by the particular pollutant. You call it as the hazard identification. Now, at different exposures, what are the health problems? Next step, as after hazard identification, next step is known as dose response assessment. So what do you mean by dose response assessment? At different exposures, what are the different health problems that are created? You call it as the dose response assessment. Then exposure assessment, which means that during a specific time period, how much of the pollutant is being exposed and how many people are exposed, how much of the pollutant is being absorbed, how much of the pollutant is being exposed and how many people are exposed. You call it as exposure assessment. So these two will be carried out. Dose response means at different exposure level, what will be the health effect? Okay, dose, at a particular dose of the toxicity, what will be the effect caused to the population, receptor population? You consider it or you evaluate it in the dose response assessment. And another one is exposure assessment. Exposure assessment includes two types of assessment. What are the type of pollutants that will be exposed to people, and secondly, how many people are exposed? Both of these things need to be characterized: dose response assessment and exposure assessment. And last step is risk characterization. In the exposed population, what is the extra risk of health problems? What is the extra risk of health problems in the exposed population? You call it as the risk characterization. Okay. So for human health risk assessment, the first step is known as the hazard identification. Hazard identification, it's the process. Hazard identification is the process of determining whether exposure to a stressor, okay, once exposure is occurring to a stressor, whether that exposure can cause any increase in the incidence of specific adverse health effects. For example, cancer is an adverse health effect. Some forms of birth defects are another example of adverse health effect. So whether the exposure to one particular stressor will be causing either which will be starting some new adverse health effect, or whether it will be increasing the chances of this adverse health effect. Okay. Now, in some cases, when we are discussing about the chemical stressors, which means that the source of this risk is from some chemical. Okay. In case of chemicals, this process of hazard identification will be identifying or will be examining the available scientific data. Okay, whatever literature is available for a chemical, that data will be evaluated and it will be developing a weight of evidence to characterize the link between the negative effect and the chemical agent. So what is done is, for a particular chemical hazard, the examination of the scientific data available will be done, and there should be a characterization made between the chemical agent and what are the effects caused, what are the negative effects of the chemical agent. Now, if there is exposure to a stressor, that will be generating different adverse effects in humans. Okay, that will be generating different adverse effects in humans. So these different adverse effects generated in humans include diseases, formation of tumors, reproductive defects, death, or other effects. So this is about the hazard identification. What is the hazard and what is the exposure to stressor? Will it be causing any kind of hazard? Then if the hazard is a chemical hazard, if the hazard is of a chemical nature, what will be done? Available literature will be examined to see what will be the type of chemical agent and what are the negative effects associated with that particular chemical agent. Okay. Now, sources of data. Actually, for examining the data regarding a chemical stressor, the problem is no significant studies are available because for the testing of human testing of environmental hazard, there is some ethical concerns pointed out. Okay. So when data from human studies are unavailable, as I have told, there are certain constraints for performing the data, for performing these studies on humans. So what is done when data from humans are not available, or data from animal studies are relied? You will be relying on certain data from animal studies. And from these data, inference is drawn about the potential hazard to humans. Okay. Now, the animal studies, they can be designed, controlled, and conducted. The animal studies can be designed, controlled, and conducted to address the specific gap in the knowledge. Now, to understand the key components of hazard identification, actually a wide variety of studies and analysis is used for hazard identification. First one is toxic kinetics and toxicokinetics, and another one is toxicodynamics. Toxicokinetics means how the body will be absorbing, chemical, how the body will be distributing chemical, how the body will be metabolizing and eliminating specific chemical. So that is toxicokinetics. Toxicokinetics deals with how the body will be absorbing, distributing, metabolizing, and eliminating specific chemicals. Next one is toxicodynamics. What are the effects caused by the chemicals on the human body? Now, the models based on these study can prescribe mechanism by which a chemical may impart human health, thus providing insights into the possible effects of a chemical, which means that toxicokinetics deals with toxicokinetics does not deal with the effect caused by the particular toxic substance. Okay, but it will be dealing with the process involved in associating the body with this particular toxic material, such as how the body will be absorbing this chemical, how the body will be distributing this chemical within, how the body will be metabolizing, and how that specific chemical toxic will be eliminated from the body. But in the case of toxicodynamics, the focus will be what will be the effect the chemical will be producing on the body. Okay, so how the chemical may be impacting human health, that is addressed in the case of a toxicodynamic study. Okay, now the Environment Protection Agency practice currently focused is to analyze the mode of action. So what do you mean by mode of action? Mode of action means it's a sequence of events and processes. And starting with the interaction of an agent and a cell. Now, the analysis of mode of action is based on the physical, chemical, and biological information that will help the key events to be explained. So that is about the hazard identification. We have to move on to the next step. So continuing, actually hazard identification means, so we have already seen that in the case of risk assessment, hazard identification is the first step. And this process will be used to identify the specific chemical hazard. And we also have to determine whether an exposure to this chemical will be having any potential to harm the human health. Okay. Now, if sufficient time and resources is provided, for potentially hazardous chemical to be identified, the surest way is collection of sample and the chemical analysis. So this collection and analysis of sample will generally require preliminary identification of the chemical, okay? Which means that the collection and laboratory analysis method will depend on the specific chemical, okay? What is the specific chemical? The laboratory collection and analysis method will be depending on specific chemical, which means that depending on the chemical, the method of collection and analysis will be differing, okay? So some preliminary identification of the chemical is needed for hazard identification. If we are dealing with a chemical hazard, some preliminary method by which the identification of this chemical is made possible is very much required. But in some cases, the problem is that chemical analysis are not possible. So in such a case where the chemical analysis is not possible, the preliminary identification will include the entire hazard identification step. So now please observe this flow chart. So the question is, we have a chemical hazard. So the first question is the identity of the chemical hazard known? So there can be two options, yes or no. So if the answer is yes, that is the identity of the chemical is known, then the next question will be, is the chemical potentially hazardous? You have to determine whether the chemical is potentially hazardous. If the chemical is potentially hazardous, then we have to proceed to hazard characterization. We have to proceed to hazard characterization and also assess the exposure. But if the question is no, if the chemical is potentially not hazardous, then there is no need of further proceeding. You can stop your investigation, right? So is the chemical potentially hazardous? If the answer is no, then answer should be, then the next step should be stopping the study. Now, another part where the identity of the chemical is not known, you have to find out or you have to track the identity of the chemical. So in such a case, the step will be, you have to gather the information available on chemical byproducts and waste streams which is associated with the source or process. You don't know the exact identity of the source, okay? So what is the byproducts and what are the waste streams associated with it? You have to gather a maximum information available from such. Next one, for the industry, what is the emission scenario? Collect the maximum number of documents for emission scenario. So this is the general roadmap for hazard identification. Only that much steps is needed. I'm not going into the full detailed steps. Now,